Quant had a lot of hype in the last bull cycle and actually did really damn well. As of right now, there are 9 cryptocurrency projects that meet the global payment standards. These are all, in theory, able to run a CBDC. Quant clearly have a desire to run CBDC systems. So we'll talk about what would happen if they were to land one, what would happen to the price of Quant if they were to land one. Before I get into that though, guys, this spreadsheet shows the first 26 coins that I did videos about on the channel. When I did the videos, I showed myself buying up these coins. If you'd have done the same, if you'd have popped $100 into each of these coins when I released the videos about them, all you would have had to do is sit on them for 16 months. You wouldn't have even had to look at them and then jump onto your wallet and sell them. And if you had done that for all 26, your total profit in under a year and a half would have been over 123 grand. That's nearly a house, guys. Now, you don't have a year and a half. Markets are red hot, and you really don't even have 2 months. If you're not happy with your portfolio, if you're concerned about your portfolio or just unsure about it, or if you don't have one at all, now is the time to do something about it. If you go to copymycrypto.com, that's the site I run where I share with my members every coin that I own. Whenever I buy or sell any crypto, I tell my members what crypto I'm buying and at what price. Same when I sell. So my members get in and out of cryptos at the same price, so they make the exact same profit. Added bonus there, don't have to do any work at all. And if that sounds good to you, pause this video now, go to the site, read through it all, watch the videos, see the successes we've had, read the testimonials, watch the videos. Everything on there is public record, so you can verify it. If you're in a position where you're really unsure about your portfolio, now is the time to do something about it. Copymycrypto.com will be able to help you guys. Now, Quant. So Quant did very, very, very well in the last bull cycle. At one point it was, $4 or $5 in the bear cycle, and it went all the way up to over $400. In fact, it hit as high as $428 in the last bull cycle. Quant is their goal is connecting blockchains and networks on a global scale without reducing efficiency of the network. They want to solve the interoperability problem, and realistically they're one of the first projects to try and do this. The main aim of Quant using Overledger is to bridge the gap that exists between different blockchains. The backbone of the project is the Overledger network, which Quant builds as the ecosystem on which all future digital economies will be built. And obviously they have a DLT. Now, the founders of Quant are Gilbert Verdian. So he was one of the founders, and he had the idea for the blockchain project while he was working in the healthcare sector. He has over 20 years of experience in the security industry. The second co-founder, Dr. Paulo Tasca, is an entrepreneur, digital economist who specialized in distributed systems, worked as a special advisor on blockchain tech for the EU Parliament, the UN, and numerous central banks worldwide. That connection is going to do them the world of good. The reality is Quant are looking to be a participant in CBDCs. In fact, there is a literal post on Twitter, or X, earlier this year, where they were saying, as part of Project Rosalind, we proved that Overledger APIs could play a key role in enabling CBDC systems to deliver a range of benefits regarding payments of functionality and security. You might have just spotted the central bank that they were looking at was Bank of England. Now, CBDCs are fundamentally not a good thing. There is a lot to unpack with CBDCs. However, if you're not really knowledgeable about what central bank digital currency is or what it can be, I do highly recommend people look into this, because unfortunately I think they're inevitable, but I think as citizens, if we are as aware as possible about the risks of a CBDC, I think there's enough citizens that you could rally and protest and not have one. Whether or not that ends up happening is a different matter. I think some people have got so used to money no longer being money that CBDCs probably don't concern people in the same way that it concerns me. But if you are pro them, I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you look into them. The whole premise is programmable money, effectively. And you've got to be aware that someone's running that sooner or later. And if someone's running that, potentially your money's at risk and your liberties are at risk. And I'm not going to go into a longer rant about this. Just look into it. However, what I will say, CBDCs, while I think they could be terrible and really bad for us all, anything that runs the infrastructure of a CBDC is going to be worth trillions of dollars. Like, there isn't actually a number you can put on it. Like, if you got to understand, if CBDCs come in, say a CBDC comes in America, a central bank digital currency, the thing that runs the infrastructure of a central bank digital currency is effectively running the country. All of a sudden, you're not talking about a thing worth $1 billion, $2 billion. You're talking about it being worth $1 trillion, because that's how much money it would be facilitating the movement of, like, on a monthly basis. If you look at the data of the amount of money that's moved on a daily basis in your given country, scale that across a year, think about the money saved for the banks using, something like Quant, and you're talking about insane money. And whether you are pro or anti CBDCs, if you are invested in the infrastructure of one, you're going to do very, very, very well, because they are going to be worth incredible money. Quant are looking to really work with institutions and enterprises. Now, institutions-wise, obviously, they are already working with them. It helps that Dr. Paolo Tasca has worked with central banks worldwide, as well as the EU Parliament, as well as the UN. Sooner or later, the EU are going to introduce a CBDC. That is just inevitable. Once they've got rid of all the privacy coins that bother them so much. And Dr. Paolo Tasca has an inroad with them. He's worked with them. Same with the central banks that he's worked with worldwide. And sooner or later, Quant are going to land a CBDC. It's not an if, it's a when. In the same way that XRP will. The same way that Stellar will. Some of these are so well established and already have the connections with governments and banks that they can run the infrastructure. If Quant ends up landing, let's say, the EU one, because I think that's probably the most likely of all larger nations for Quant, if they were to land the CBDC of the EU, or at least get the initial agreement in place to then build, to then release the CBDC, down the line, 3-4 years, just the news alone would pump this like wild. Once it's actually doing the job of infrastructure, this becomes immensely valuable. Talking about like 5 figures for Quant, like $10,000 kind of deal, right? But even if it doesn't get that in place, it just gets the news of the CBDC being confirmed. They are going to do that. It can run up to $1,000 with ease. It wouldn't be a shock to see it get to $2,000-$3,000. But this bull cycle, I think, if it can land the big contract with a central bank, this can run up to $1,000. Now, if it gets the central bank in Tanzania or something, no, it's not going to work, right? But if it gets a big jurisdiction's central bank digital currency, like the EU or like the UK, say it's a top 10 country in terms of GDP, Quant could absolutely fire, and $1,000 I think could be very, very achievable. But it's going to be news driven what moves Quant, because they're working more with businesses, they're working more with financial institutions. Quant is less, has less connections in terms of like, oh, look at this DeFi project that's built on Quant. So Quant will be a news-driven pump, but with their ties with governments, I think they've got a really strong possibility of landing a CBDC, or at least landing the initial contract. That in and of itself, that news is enough to pump this 10, 15x. I think this could run up to $1,000 with that news, but without it, probably not. Probably not. So keeping an eye out for the Quant news, if you're a Quant holder, vital. Let me know what you guys think about Quant in the comments down below. If you are a holder of Quant, what are you hopeful about this year, this bull cycle? What do you want to see from them? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. And look, if you do not have your portfolio sorted out, now is the time to do something about it, because if you are going to wait 2 months, you are going to be too late. You're going to watch everyone else making money in these markets while you don't. Time is of the essence. You now need to start sorting your portfolio out. If you're not confident about it, if you're unsure about it, or if you don't even have a portfolio, get onto copymycrypto.com. Have a look at what my members have earned. Read through the testimonials. Watch the videos. Everything on there is public record. You can verify everything that you read, see, and watch. Copymycrypto.com is where I dive into the markets. When I find a coin that I am going to buy, I tell my members what coin and at what price I'm buying it. When I sell my coins, I tell my members what coins I'm selling and at what price. So my members get in and out of cryptos, same price as me. They don't have any work to do either. And if that sounds good to you, making money in these markets without doing any work and getting your portfolio sorted, get onto copymycrypto.com, read through it all and try it out, guys. And that is it from me. Have a good day.